Hello, welcome. My name is Beth Foraker, and this is my son.
Hey,
What's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick Foraker. And we're going to talk today about going to college. And we want everyone in the planet to know that going to college is possible for people with intellectual disabilities. And we're going to tell you our story in the hopes that you will tell other people and let everyone know that people with an intellectual disability can go to college. 4 years, living away from home, college. All right, ready, Patrick? Here we go. So, Patrick, go ahead. You can tell that part.
Okay. So I was born in 1999. So over 30 years ago, only 20% of students with disabilities were educated in a public school. Today, 95% are, but we still have a long way to go because only 17% of students with intellectual disabilities are fully included in school, and only 41% will get a regular diploma. Only 70% get creative integrated employment.
Right. Just for the record, that cute baby was Patrick, swinging in a swing. Okay, so Patrick was fully included preschool all the way through 12th grade. And we want everybody on the planet to know that that's possible too. And we're here to help you do that. I work for UC Davis in the School of Education. I help teachers become teachers, and we help people all over the nation be fully included in their elementary and high school years. So he was graduating with a diploma, and he was not going to be using that 18 to 21 year transition time because he was graduating with a diploma. He gets kicked out of his school system then. And so now what were we going to do? So Patrick had seen, he has a big brother and a big sister, and he had seen them go away to college. And so that was normal for him and typical and expected. He was thinking about college, but we didn't really know too much about it. And we weren't sure, at all. So we went to a place called Think College. All right. I just want to have a timeout here on why college programs for people with intellectual disabilities matter. Some people think this is like a rich person's lark, a fun thing, just a fun thing. You're rich, go to college, even if you have an intellectual disability. No. When you go to college, typical people, when they go to college, we know what happens for them. We have the educational data, and we know what happens for people with disabilities. Okay, when you go to college, you have more stable relationships. You're more civically engaged. You have a better job, more money. You make more money. You have better health. You have a happier life, and you have better life outcomes across every metric that's measured. This is just for typical people. So imagine the most marginalized group in our society having this opportunity when we know your health will be better, your job will be better, your relationships will be better. Why would we deny that to this group of people? This is actually about freedom. And the function of freedom is to free someone else. Thank you, Toni Morrison, for that amazing quote. So we want you to know that going to college is about your freedom and being able to live your real, authentic adult life. All right. So, and just to really bring this home for you, this is the percentage of adults with intellectual disabilities in the state of California. That little tiny orange sliver is the people who have competitive integrative employment, which is quote unquote a living wage, which we can argue if $9.50 an hour is a living wage. Green sliver is supported employment. The blue is day programs or sub minimum wage. And the purple is other people just basically hanging out at home and doing nothing or sitting at a day program. So in the state of California, we have 3% of people with intellectual disabilities as adults having competitive integrative employment. That means the rest of the 97% have no freedom to live their life their way. Okay. So we went to Think College. Think College is a clearinghouse of information. And when we went to Think College, we looked at their website. So go to their website, it's thinkcollege.net, and see all the different programs. In 2010, President Obama gave federal funding to build these programs. And in 2015, more federal funding came. No colleges in California took advantage of that funding in 2015. Now in 2020, another round of funding is coming, and we will see if any California colleges get the funding. But this is what the state map looks like when you go to Think College. It looks like California has 15 inclusive college programs, and that is true. And most of them are community college programs called C2Cs, which are fantastic programs. C2Cs work with high schools, work with this person, and they really do a great job. They allow you to go to college at a community college, but what they don't allow is inclusive living. Very, very few programs have inclusive living. And in the state of California, there are only 2 that offer inclusive living. UCLA's program, which is a 2-year program called Pathways, and Fresno State's program, another 2-year program. There are no 4-year programs in the state of California. And West Virginia still has 0 inclusive college programs. Okay. Oh, now we're on to the next slide here. But if you want to go to college, and go to 4 years with inclusive living, there are 16 to 18 options nationwide for you. And if you look at this slide, there are University of Arkansas, Northern Colorado, Georgia Tech, College of New Jersey, Clemson, Kent State, Cincinnati, Carls of Charleston, George Mason, Southeastern, Millersville, Coastal Carolina, University of Northern Florida, that's Missouri State, Elmhurst College in Illinois, and University of North Carolina, Greensboro. Those are the programs. Patrick did apply to 3 of these programs. Do you remember the ones you applied to?
I applied to Clemson, College of Charleston, and George Mason.
That's right. Good job, Patrick. Okay, next one. So just to give you a little idea of what these programs look like, because they are different. They're like flavors of ice cream, just like other higher ed options for typical students. So at the College of Charleston, here's some things that they do that's special. They have this thing called the 50 Steps of Freedom. So that means that you learn 50 different routes around the College of Charleston. The College of Charleston is in downtown Charleston. So you learn 50 routes around the campus with a mentor. And as you learn those routes and get more and more familiar, that is your path to freedom and being able to walk around campus on your own. Every single course in their course catalog is accessible to any REACH student, any College of Charleston student who with an intellectual disability. All of their professors have had training. It is truly incredible. And the professors say what we all know, their own classes and teaching has gotten better for the typical students because of the presence of these REACH students. They have peer mentors. They do a super cool thing where they pay you for a job. The students work at a job and they pay them. And then that is where their budgeting comes in all year long. Their student interests are supported, encouraged, and mentored through, and they have inclusive living. Another program, George Mason, also a 4-year program with inclusive living. They have life skills courses, housekeeping, cooking, shopping, all are embedded in direct teaching courses right there at your dorm. Your coursework, they have two prongs to the coursework. One is segregated. They're still targeting your reading, your literacy, and your math instruction. They're giving you specialized coursework on sexual health, mental health and wellness, budgeting, and planning. All of that is a segregated coursework, but then they also offer courses that you would take typical students from the course catalog that students would pick. Usually they pick 2 a semester. And then they have a community of learners. There's 48 people in their Mason Life program, 12 at each year. And so this cohort really works together and has a fantastic community. And then they have supported internships and jobs. All of this, of course, all of these colleges are working to independent jobs, independent living, a full independent adulthood with support, of course. Okay, the next one. Do you remember where this picture was, Patrick?
This was a picture of me in Charleston.
Yeah, in Charleston. So what happened was we visited Fresno State and we loved it. It's a great, great program. It's awesome, but it's only 2 years. And it's about 4 hours from our house. We live in Davis. So when we were driving back on the drive, I, of course, had an emergency with my daughter who was at home, and she was talking to me and crying on the phone, very upset. And I really wanted to get to her back home, but I was stuck in traffic, and it ended up taking me 5.5 hours to get home instead of 4. And I'm sitting in the car so frustrated, just wanting to get to her. And I'm realizing, what is the difference between 5 hours in a car and 5 hours on an airplane? I still can't get to the person I love who I want to help. So maybe we should look together at all around the nation for these college programs, since there aren't any that are 4 years long in California. And so we went to the College of Charleston first because my friend Cindy May helped create that program. She's a professor at Charleston, a psych professor. So we went to the College of Charleston. I wasn't sure if Patrick would like it. I wasn't sure if he'd be interested. It was a full day of learning about the program, touring the school, all of that.
And who do we end up meeting with?
Cindy May. Is that who you're thinking of?
Not Cindy May.
Oh, I know.
But who do we end up meeting in the dome?
Ryan.
Yeah.
Do you want to say who Ryan is?
No, how about you go ahead?
So Ryan is Patrick's really good friend who lives in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
She has Down syndrome, like Patrick. Her name's Katie. Yeah. Ryan is her big brother. And so Ryan was attending College of Charleston when we were visiting, and he graciously allowed us to see the dorms. And I was able to ask him, hey, is this inclusive? What do you think? Do you feel good about this program? And he said, yeah, it's very inclusive. We see these kids, at parties, on campus, in the dorms, doing, living their lives. And then, so anyway, look at Patrick in that picture. His face says it all. He's like, wow, this looks pretty great. I like college, right? And so, then we decided to apply.
Yeah.
And the applications, they're involved. They're a lot of work. You need job or volunteering experience and extracurriculars, which Patrick has. Patrick was really involved in theater, involved in doing plays, loved working at the pool, had little jobs he did. He needed 3 letters of recommendation, 1 from the job, and he needed a letter from the principal saying that his behavior was acceptable and good. He needed a full medical exam and clearance from his doctor to be able to go to college. He needed hard copies. It was all had to be mailed together. And the questions he had to answer were, who are you? What are your goals for after college? Why do you want to go to college? What do you like to do? Regular questions that other kids would answer. And there he is. What are you doing there, Patrick?
I was trying to finish and complete of my application.
Right. So and Patrick was motivated to do this. So every single step we didn't really know, but we just tried it. Every one. Okay, so then so Patrick got 2 interviews. He was denied admittance to the College of Charleston, but he got an interview at Clemson University and an interview at George Mason. Now, we hadn't been to those schools, but they felt, hey, we think you're a good student who would be a good match for our program. So, and they worked with us, both Clemson and George Mason. Since we live on the West Coast, we said, can we possibly squish our interviews so they're on either side of a weekend? And they did. And so we flew to Clemson, South Carolina, and loved Clemson. It was a great, great school. So fun. But the interview was just 1 hour long. It wasn't me. It was just Patrick. They just talked to you. And that's Patrick. That picture is Patrick right before his interview. Cool as a cucumber, because Patrick does not get stressed out. He's happy. He's joyful. So he had his interview there. And then we flew to Washington, D.C. area, Fairfax, Virginia, where George Mason is. And that interview was a full day for Patrick, 9 to 3. And he shadowed a student. He went to classes with the student. He talked to students. He ate lunch with the students on campus and hung out all day on campus. And so more than the school getting a feel for him, he got a feel for the school and really understood what college would feel like. Don't you feel like? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we got to see a dorm. Our friend Alex, weirdly, who also is from Davis, was going to George Mason. And so he showed us the dorm. And then, amazingly, Patrick got accepted to college. And we have an amazing video that we are going to show you of him getting accepted.
Right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Dear Patrick, here we go. Congratulations! We are pleased to offer you an invitation to George Mason Lab program. I am it! Yeah!
Patrick, you're going to college!
Yeah! I'm going to college! Take a look!
Hold it up. That's amazing! I'm so excited.
Patrick, let me see.
That is so
Are you excited?
Yeah! I got in!
Here, Patrick, can I see it?
Take a look!
That's so awesome, Patrick.
proud of you, Patrick. That is amazing.
What do
Congratulations. I can't wait
What
to
do you
have
think,
you.
Patrick?
So,
It's awesome!
Wow, isn't that amazing?
so excited for you.
Yeah!
Wow.
So proud of
Patrick,
you,
put this in a special place.
Hey, hold it up.
That's just his face right there. Literally, I took a screenshot as we were screaming and amazed because it is so hard to get in. There's only 12 spots for the freshman class, 6 guys, 6 girls. And at George Mason, it's 2 people with Down syndrome, 2 people with autism, 2 people with something else, like traumatic brain injury or something else. So there were only 2 slots for Patrick. So we really didn't think he'd get in, and we kept saying, you'll probably just have a gap year. So when he got in, he was like, am I going to have a gap year? And we said, no, we're not going to have a gap year because you got in and we think we should try it. Again, we weren't sure how it would go, but we thought we would try it. Okay. So getting ready for college. You want to help your child develop independent skills. Leave them unattended for short amounts of time in junior high, high school. Give them something to accomplish during that time. Help them to become technologically literate, texting and emailing and navigating with a map on their phones. Give them a cell phone in junior high and high school. Have them use that. Build their reading skills every day. Teach the skill of follow through. If you want to do it, see it through. If you care about it, keep going. Build writing skills, make lists, write notes, write letters, thank you notes, or what Patrick likes to do, writing scripts. Give responsibility to your child. Have them begin learning about the laundry or pet sitting or cooking or whatever makes them excited. You know, they're part of the family. Give them some chores. And help your child picture the future by growing in awareness about these college programs, visiting people in college, talking to kids in college. Patrick, what's going on in this picture?
This is the picture of me and my younger sister who just got into St. Francis, right?
Yeah.
And graduated from her old elementary school, St. James. And me and her was outside in the backyard, right next to the pool area. We decorated my initials of my first initial of the P, the M for the P was for Patrick, M was for Murdoch, and the F was for Foraker.
And what did you do with that PMF?
I took the idea because it was basically my older sister who I called Princess. She does the exact same thing for MK.
MK in her dorm room.
Yeah.
She had decorated letters.
Yeah.
And so when it came time for Patrick to think about decorating a dorm room, he's like, well, I need to get some letters and paint them and get them ready. And so Patrick and Caroline did that. So we just want to make a blurb for self-advocacy, teaching people with disabilities that they have a voice, they have important things to share and say, and that they can be the experts on things. And we want to share with you this amazing, amazing book. Patrick, can you go get it? It's behind that girl's book. So there's a cool camp called Camp Pals that is for kids with disability, kids with Down syndrome. It's right, Patrick, see right there on the ground by where it says girls. Right behind there is one of the books. And Camp Pals pairs up a person with Down syndrome, a young adult with Down syndrome, with a typical person. They live in the dorm for a week and they do all these fun activities. And this camp was created by a sibling who has a brother with Down syndrome. And you know how siblings are. They're like, well, you don't get to have something for nothing. You know, you guys got to do something. So she said, I want all of the people with Down syndrome to write a letter of congratulations to a new family that has a baby with Down syndrome. And so the very first time Patrick did that, he wrote like, hi, my name is Patrick. I don't have Down syndrome, but you're going to have a nice baby, you know, have a great life. Because Patrick had never been asked to think about having Down syndrome and, you know, what are you proud of? What are your hopes and dreams? What advice would you give? This is what they wanted in the letter. And he'd never been asked those things. So the next year when he went to camp, he was asked to write another letter and he wrote another letter. And then the third time he went to camp, he wrote this letter, and he's going to read it right now.
Dear parents, congratulations. My name is Patrick, and I am proud of making friends and graduation from high school. In the future, I want to go to UC Davis and to be a director. There's no reason to be scared of having a kid with Down syndrome. As long as you love them, they will love you back. Good luck and have fun. Love, Patrick.
And then show him the picture. Can you show him the picture? Here's Patrick. That was when he was at Camp Pals. So what's cool about this book is that you don't have to be the best writer or have the longest letter. You know, some letters are super long. Some letters are super short. We're going to meet this guy. We're going to meet this guy in a minute. Some letters, you know, don't have the best handwriting. Some letters have amazing handwriting. But what's cool about it is the diversity of the people. And these people have expertise to share. And they were asked it and they shared it. And imagine these parents getting these letters, or imagine getting the whole book. So you can buy this book at pals.org. Just look up Congratulations Project. Okay. So also give these people a chance to talk and share their story and share their ideas and share what their dreams and hopes are. Please, Patrick, what is this? What's that a picture of?
Where were we?
We're in our den, but we
in
remember our sticker, what our sticker says?
Yeah. Okay, so this was in our den. At where?
At our house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in den.
But it was
in our
after,
house.
but after you had what?
After I have
Voted?
voted. After yeah, this was in den. Back in our house, right after I voted, I was going to be the president. Before our funeral, who got president. And then we all got name tags.
Little stickers that said.
Yeah, we have some name tags and stickers, what we call it.
That say I voted, right?
That says I voted, which is just it. And this was my mother, and of course I was there as well. And if you don't know my older sister really well, and she's my princess, that's what she looks like, right there.
Yeah, that's her big sister, Mary Kate. So Patrick was not able to vote in the presidential election. He voted in the primary in 2018. And then he voted by mail in the November of 2018. And he's really excited to vote again in 2020. But making sure people are able to vote, right? Which again, civic engagement.
But not this guy.
Okay, so here is our Patrick's freshman class. And the reason why I love this so much is I want you to look down at the very bottom right-hand corner of Erica. Erica has her fist up. Her fist is up. And you know why her fist is up? Because education is freedom. And she knows it, and she can feel her freedom, and she holds her fist up and just says, yes, I made it into college. So I love that, because you just can't help but feel her excitement at her opportunity. All right, so what does going to college look like? I told you a little bit about this before. You can, there's budgeting, there's sexual health, self-regulation, mental health, and then core classes. Patrick was responsible for waking up, getting to class on time. responsible for his laundry, responsible for grocery shopping, responsible for making meals. Patrick had to make more meals than his big brother or big sister had to do when they were freshmen. He had to make 3 dinners a week and 4 lunches a week, right? Yeah. And then, so that whole first semester, they are not taking classes, typical classes on campus. That you're on campus for these courses.
Yeah,
but you don't.
not for the first week.
And then
it's the week.
And that's right.
Yeah.
And then the second semester is when you can begin taking courses from the course catalog and do that.
But it's always next week for the class.
There are only 3 cities in the nation that offer inclusion preschool all the way through college. And when you have that continuum of inclusion, is what I call it, you can have the momentum to have independent adulthood with independent living, independent jobs, and inclusive employment, inclusive in your community, because you have that full momentum. So Fairfax, Virginia, where Patrick goes to college, is one. Nashville, Tennessee is one. And Charleston, South Carolina. There are 0 cities in California that offer pre-K through college continuum of inclusion, a 4-year college yet. All right. So what can you do now that you know about inclusive college? What can you do? You can, if you're an alum from a college, you can let your college know about Think College and ask for money. You can share the benefits that it is for typical students to have this opportunity. Mentoring students with disabilities is a profound educational experience for any teacher or PA or PT or speech and language. You can partner with other nonprofits to promote educational equity. You can offer community internships. If you have a business, offer an internship or find a way to be an ally for any of these students. All right, so you might be wondering, what does college look like? Well, college looks a lot like college looks like for typical kids. Patrick, tell us about these people in these pictures. Who is that?
This was the dinner of my friend of mine in New Jersey made in Potomac Heights. We were both having pizza. Me and her were having pizza, and my friend who is gluten free can have what we're having, but he has something else that he made for him. Which was pretty nice, and that was all of us in Potomac Heights, and I'm with her.
So Katie made a gluten-free option for Scotty?
Yeah.
So that he could be part of her dinner?
Yeah.
So Katie, as a freshman in college and a person with an intellectual disability, wanted her friend, Scotty, to come to dinner with her, and she made him a gluten-free option. She made you her regular option, and you had dinner together.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And Katie,
she basically make me and her pizza, but he
made something else.
She didn't make him one.
Yeah. And who's this guy that has his arm around you when you're holding your pillow?
Oh yeah. This was my friend of mine who just graduated away in this year of 2020. He goes by the name of Staff, and he is actually from where the Black Panther was all taking place.
Yeah, his family's from Nigeria, but he's a first-generation college student. He lives in New Jersey too, and he's a mechanical engineering major, and he was Patrick's living support. So Stav lived with Patrick and 2 other people with disabilities in one room in the dorms, and he was their support for living. And, I would get texts from Patrick, and they would say something like, "Hey, I'm going shopping. Can you put some money in my account?" And then I'd be so excited to get a text from Patrick, and I would say, "Awesome. Of course I'll put money in your account. How's it going?" And then no text back because he's having too much fun in college. So we were not sure how that first quarter would go, first semester. We said to him, "We're not sure. We're just trying this. You're going far away from home. Other kids go far away from home. We're trying this. If it's not a good fit, it's no big deal because that happens to kids, all kids. If it's a good fit and you're growing and stretching yourself, we'll be so proud of you. But even if you go and it doesn't work out, we're still so proud of you because there's so much learning in the trying, right?" And that we really, really believed that. And we had no way to know how it would go. But it went fantastic. Just like every other amazing opportunity Patrick's been offered, he rose to the occasion and loved it. So Patrick had never flown on his own from any long distance at all. He learned how to fly by himself from Sacramento to Washington, D.C., or from Washington, D.C. back home, which is a huge accomplishment. And again, back to freedom, right? Patrick would FaceTime. That's what a lot of our communication looked like. We'd talk and FaceTime and enjoy it. This was me visiting Patrick in the fall of his freshman year. And it was just a joy, nothing but a joy to see him thriving so much and to see him so happy. I mean, it's what we all hope for our children, of course. And this is Patrick, Scotty, and Katie. Do you want to tell them what's happening here?
Where were we?
You're at that restaurant that's kind of by where we stay. You were moving in.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah.
Yeah. So in that restaurant where we me and Mom stayed in was the restaurant of the first day of all the three of us having milkshakes all together, and it was really fun. And it was me having one. Katie from New Jersey have one, and my friend from Maryland.
Yeah, Scotty. And Scotty became Patrick's roommate his second year. So this is the three of them starting their sophomore year of college. And you can tell by their faces how proud they are, how amazed and excited they are, and how they know what to expect. They know what's coming. They got this, right? I mean, Patrick's expression is like, "This is awesome, and I know I got this. I'm so good." Do you remember this picture?
This was the picture of my older sister and my dad coming over as well. I don't know if Jack was there.
No.
Oh, you were there. Okay.
I wasn't. No, it was just you and
yeah.
Mary Kate visited you.
And Dad.
And Dad. You, Dad, and Mary Kate.
Yeah. So it was my dad, who's my mom's husband.
Yeah.
And along with him was my older sister, who I call Princess. We were all basically walking towards basically like around campus.
Walking towards your classes, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
On campus, yeah. So, and there's Mary Kate getting to see her brother, getting a tour of campus. So just in case you're like feeling super overwhelmed and you think this is like just an impossibility, there's no way you can do this. First off, I want you to know that FAFSA, Pell Grants, Cal Grants, they all fund college for people with intellectual disabilities too. There's also Ruby's Rainbow that has scholarships for people with Down syndrome to go to college. So there is money available for you to go. And if you go in California, to like say for Fresno State, for 2 years, the regional center will pay for you to go to college. Because we know that after you go to college, your job opportunities are much better. Your chances of making better pay, much better. So the regional center will support you also. And we just want to tell you to begin anywhere. Go to Think College, talk to us, talk to other people, find out what's possible. And this is our last slide. We want you to know that there will be obstacles. There will be doubters. So many doubters. I'm sure you can imagine how many people thought we were really bizarre to have Patrick go all the way to Virginia for college. My own mom thought, you're crazy. Why would you do that? But we knew it was an amazing opportunity, and we were excited for Patrick, and he loved it. Look at his face. He loves college. He's having to take a year gap right now. So the gap year came 2 years in because of COVID. Patrick's high risk for COVID. So he's taking a year gap and living at home, but plans to go back in the fall of 2021, back to George Mason to finish his junior and senior year. And that's the beauty of a 4-year program. Patrick had so much momentum in his second year, and to just stop and now be done, it would be a big loss. Having double that opportunity makes a huge difference. And we highly recommend it.
Yeah. And I am basically going back to college, just actually say. I'm going back to college in the fall of 2021. Right after summer is gonna be all awful, and also the new release of my my movie I have been like waiting forever to watch.
What movie?
Which is the fourth one, which I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. And all right, so there will be doubters, there will be mistakes, but with hard work, there are no limits. And for freedom, it is worth it. I want to make sure that's my very last slide. It is. Okay. Wait, one more thing I want to show you. So remember this book? This is how crazy the universe works. Patrick, remember that guy with the drums? That ended up being Patrick's really good friend, Scotty.
Right here.
These two are best friends and Patrick's roommates.
That's my guy right
They
here.
did not know each other. He went to a Camp Pals camp in Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. Patrick went to Camp Pals in Santa Clara. They hosted at Santa Clara University.
Yeah.
And they met in college.
We're
Incredible.
coming back there again.
Yeah.
In 2021.
Absolutely. Camp Pals will also be happening in 2021. We're crossing fingers. All right. So that's the end of our presentation. Please reach out. You have our emails. We're so grateful that you listened to our story. And we want to say college is not just possible, but awesome.
Mm-hmm.